Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Shaw, and I'm joined by my colleague, Christine Schachter. We are your government affairs directors here at the local Realtor Association. And we put together a little resource guide for you to look at and refer to as you do your real estate business during these challenging times with this COVID-19 pandemic. So we will be making this available to everybody. We thought we would put together this little video to talk about some of the highlights. So when you come to the resource guide, you will see the links to the World Health Organization, Centers for Disease Control, our state healthcare agency, and other local links to healthcare agencies, but also specific for realtors. We have the link to the National Association of Realtors, COVID coronavirus link, the California Association of Realtors, as well as our local hotline numbers and other COVID relief information specific to realtors. So this will be a good place to be your one-stop shop for all information you would need for real estate at this trying time. There's been a number of new forms that have been made available during this crisis, and maybe Christine could touch on those.
Certainly. CAR has issued guidelines and best practices, as you well know. Realtors are not to be doing open houses, but if you do visit a property as part of real estate as an essential service, you know that there are 4 new forms as part of the transaction. The Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, CAR Form CVA, Notice of Unforeseen Coronavirus Circumstances, CAR Form NUCC, Listing Agreement Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, CAR Form RLA CAA, Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration, CAR Form PEAD, and again, that's for anyone entering the property. We'll touch on a little bit about tenants and landlord relationships, but certainly keep in mind that CAR has come out with 2 new forms, the Notice to Tenant of Ability to Pay Rent During Coronavirus Pandemic, that's CAR Form NTAP, and it's an informational notice that a landlord can send to a tenant for the purpose of starting a dialogue with the tenant regarding the payment of rent during the coronavirus pandemic. The Coronavirus Rent Payment Delay and Repayment Agreement is an addendum to a residential lease or rental agreement that, when agreed to and signed by the landlord and tenant, documents the tenant's claim that the tenant is unable to pay rent and the reason for the inability, proof of the inability to pay, and the amount of rent not being paid if planned to pay it in the future. Tim will touch a little bit on that, the eviction moratoriums going on throughout the state and locally as well.
Yes, so under an emergency, as we have been in a declared emergency, the governor of California has quite broad powers during a state of emergency, and Governor Newsom has issued executive orders really rewriting some of the rules about real estate during this time. So as we kind of alluded to, though, a 90-day grace period for mortgage payments. Now that's a forbearance, so you're not relieved of having to pay, but it will just be added on later, with no negative credit impacts resulting from that if you were to take advantage of that. A moratorium on initiating foreclosures or evictions during this time, and relief from any fees and charges related to that. A tenant is required to declare in writing no more than 7 days after the rent is due that the tenant cannot pay all or maybe part of their rent due to COVID-19. Now, that's been issued at the state level. Some local jurisdictions have passed ordinances even more stringent than what we're seeing at the state level. So if you were having a question about maybe your local city, we're also going to have that made available through this resource guide as a link to individual cities and what they may have done at that city level. So another tool that we can look at, the National Association of Realtors has something up called Right Tools, Right Now initiative. So this is things related to COVID-19, just a FAQ page on what we've been doing for the association to advocate for real estate. And of course, largely being successful in deeming real estate an essential industry. In some respects, it's still changed without being able to do open houses and things, but we are an essential industry. The mortgage and personal finance FAQ would be found under this NAR Right Tools right now. Coronavirus SBA information for the Small Business Administration, and then the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance FAQ. So those needing to seek unemployment. Part of the CARES Act, the federal government passed this $2 trillion economic stimulus will be to supplement some of the unemployment needed at the state level, but also for individuals, we'll be getting a direct check, an infusion of cash under this CARES Act. So the way that works depends on how you file your taxes. If you file as an individual, if you make below $75,000 adjusted gross income the last time you filed your taxes, you would be eligible for, you'll be getting $1,200 per adult and $500 per dependent on your taxes. Now, if you're married, the cap goes up to $150,000 a year adjusted gross income, and you'll get that $1,200 for both you and $1,200 for your spouse, plus the $500 per dependent. Now, if you filed your taxes and made more than $150,000, it will start to scale down how much you get, but north of $198,000, you won't get any benefit whatsoever. If you're married filing jointly, if you're filing as an individual, you can't make more than $98,000 adjusted gross income, and if you do, then you won't be getting any money from the federal government that way. So they do have that income cap on it. But if you were in the category of qualifying, the money should be flowing very soon. I was reading even the week of April 13th, if you file your taxes electronically, you're just going to get that money deposited directly electronically to your account. Now, if you mail in your taxes, they're going to mail you a check, and that probably delays it several weeks. So again, it depends on how you filed your taxes will determine how you get the money back from the IRS. But you can be looking forward to that money coming to you soon.
And that's a direct payment, and Tim's discussed tax recovery rebates. Part of the CARES Act, it was a huge stimulus to a variety of small business administration loans and a new expansion of pandemic unemployment assistance. That's a new program, PUA. This is really what applies to realtors and that individuals who were unable to work as a result of COVID-19 between January 27th and December 31st of this year will be able to apply for that. There's a maximum of 39 weeks of assistance, and it's equal to the amount authorized under the state employment compensation law. The Employment and Development Department has quite a variety of information there, and you can obtain more at the state-by-state guide to workforce agencies' response. That's via nar.realtor. The small business administration provisions and programs, there are two key aspects, and that was the small business loans and then economic injury disaster loans. And there are also express bridge loans to small business owners and independent contractors, as well as sole proprietors. As of April 10th, independent contractors and self-employed can borrow up to $10 million, and the actual loan size obviously depends on a formula based on your average total monthly income over the prior year. And the deadline to apply for that, please note, is June 30th of this year. That's not done through SBA. It's usually done through a participating lender, a local bank. So you can refer to our resource guide for more information on that. Tim, if you wanted to touch on just the IRA withdrawal, that's a key aspect for our members as well.
Yeah, so some of you may want to take advantage of this. With the CARES Act, they're kind of easing the requirements on withdrawing money from an IRA that you might have. You can take an early withdrawal up to $100,000 from an IRA without having to pay the normal 10% early withdrawal penalty. Now, if you withdraw those funds, you can put them back over the next 3 years. Or if you just want to keep the money, you may have to pay taxes on that withdrawal over a 3-year period. But that would be a decision you would be able to make if you need to withdraw money from an IRA to kind of get you through this, near-term situation. So that might be something many of you, depending on your situation, would want to take advantage of.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it and wish you and your families the best during this time.